right. Peace to the family. Peace to the family. All right. Before I begin this broadcast or this live, I have to say, rise in power to the young god, uh, the king of drill rap, Pop Smoke. You know what I'm talking about? Who lost his life about a year ago to this day. You know, and we could see that his impact is a very strong, very impactful impact. He's on the Billboard charts. He's being people are paying a lot of attention to that man. Even in his death, his music lives on. His appeal is very magnetic. Unfortunately, there's a lot of gang violence and a lot of quote unquote drilling that has taken place in, as a result of the energy that not only Pop Smoke but other rappers in Brooklyn like Fabio and a few other of them, they have heavy influence, and that influence, this influencing other young men around the world, right? When it's all boiled down, I don't want to tiptoe through the tulips and whatnot. When it all boils down to it, that has a Judas energy, gang violence, drilling your opponents, young black men killing each other, the rise in the shootings and the rise in the crime rate, the actual crime wave that we see going on, all of these things. And I'm not going to attribute these things to that young man, because to be honest with you, Pop Smoke was the refinery. He's the refinement of drill music. Let's be clear. He refined the drill music, because Dior is not about his ops. Shoot for the Moon and Aim for the Stars, that album, that's not like a heavy gang album. It's not aimed at the ops. You know what I'm talking about? He's shooting at the shorties, to be honest with you. That's why he's winning and whatnot, because he was able to refine. He has a fucking dance that goes with every single song that he makes. You know what I'm talking about? And that dance goes to, that shit is, you could apply that to damn near all of the hot songs and whatnot. He created a dance. He got them on some high designer shit. He gave the women that alpha energy that they love, right? And he was on his, he tapped into his warrior motif. You know what I mean? He tapped into his warrior motif. And unfortunately, in these modern days and times, if we are operating and vibrating on a warrior type of vibe, it's usually against somebody that looks like us. But I would encourage y'all to really go and study and do your history and do your research. Tribal warfare is not something that's new. You know what I mean? The fact that men who look like each other have been going up against each other, this is not a new concept. Yeah, he gave y'all the DMX growl. You know what I mean? He tapped into the dog, which is God backwards. Sirius, that dog energy is very, it has a magnetism to it. I see you, Billy. I'm going to tap you in a minute. That Ogu energy, right? People appreciate the warrior energy. You understand? Especially the women who want to be, they want to feel protected. They give it up to the alpha male. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. It's all praises due to what they identify, that, and you take it from the higher plane, and you could go all the way to the Serengeti. You could go all the way into nature, how the opposite sex, you know what I'm talking about? They give it up. You know what I'm saying? They pay homage, and it's both ways. Don't think that we don't pay homage to the higher on the food chain or the hierarchy, or who we identify as the alpha goddess or the alpha female, we can give it up too. So shout out to Pop. Rise in power to the young God. He was only 20 years old. I would have loved to see what that man was going to evolve into and the type of artist he had the potential to become. Because truth be told, he was just getting started. You know, he was just getting started. On March 1st, and I'm not comparing the two artists artistically wise. Let's be clear. This is a disclaimer. I'm not putting the two skills together. But on March 1st on Netflix, they're going to have a documentary. The first time that a world, right, or fans of this artist is ever going to get to see a behind the scenes, expose, not an expose, but rather a documentary, a docu-series on Christopher Wallace, Biggie Smalls, right? Who also, when you think about it, think about go and Google the soundtrack, right? Which was one of the hottest soundtracks at its time, called Who's the Man? With Ed Lover and Dr. Dre, and not the brother from the West Coast. This is chubby Dr. Dre from Yo MTV Raps. Who's the Man had Party and Bullshit. That's Biggie Smalls' first hit, right? I believe Who's the Man came out, and when did Who's the Man come out? 92, right? Was it 92? But I pinpoint Biggie's rise from 93 with the Clue tapes. He really got hot in 95. That's when he becomes the king, and he dies in 97, right? So 92, okay. So Biggie Smalls had a 5-year run in the industry, right? And look what he was able to accomplish, right? He had a 5-year run, and he died prematurely in his 20s. Okay? So Who's the Man? He has a standout track called Party and Bullshit, right? It's not him at his highest. It's not him, but it shows that he can make a single, right? Then they have the promotion campaign called Big Mac, where they were pushing Biggie and they were pushing Craig Mack. And then you have One More Chance. No, not One More Chance. You have It Was All a Dream. I used to be Word Up Magazine. You have Juicy drop. When he dropped Juicy, then he started doing them remixes with Total and all of that. And then he started bodying the Clue tapes. Because people, a lot of people don't give DJ Clue his credit when it comes to him being the official. He killed the A&R. You know what I'm talking about? The mixtape killed the A&R. He was bigger than the A&R at one point. Yeah, Craig Mack was supposed to be the star, and then Biggie took off. I think Biggie really shined in the Flavor in Your Ear remix. That's when he started to stand up and grab his nuts. In the Flavor in Your Ear remix. Right? So then he started doing those freestyles. He did those remixes, Total remix. He did a few videos. He did the Warning,
Then it was a rap.
and it was a rap.
No, remember they did the mixtape. They did the Big Mac mixtape.
I spoke about the Big Mac mixtape. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
That was
After the Big Mac mixtape, Puffy had to re-strategize, his priorities to be like, oh, Big is the one that's gonna fly first. Cause
that's right.
remember, this is Puffy post Uptown Records. So
Right.
everything was hedged and wedged on his first artist. He couldn't stutter out the gate. He had to get one. It had to launch.
Yeah, he had to.
And obviously, right, this nigga was dealing with Uptown
Andre Harrell.
flavor sensibilities, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Because he picked Craig Mack initially as an artist. He thought he was on one. Like,
yeah.
yeah, I got something.
Craig Mack, he was like, I got one. Mama, I made it. We gonna run with Craig. Craig is him.
Yeah, Mama Combs, we out of here.
Mama Combs, we out of here. Craig is him. He's the one. You know. and they
Yeah, that
put
was
all.
the case.
Thank God Craig Mack wasn't. Oh no, it wasn't. It was K Solo that DMX was after. But Craig Mack, yeah. Somebody said that Mary B came in. No, Mary J. Blige was already lit.
Nah, Mary didn't come in. Mary was already lit. That's she's the one that built the bridge that got him over to Uptown to begin with.
Got She's the one that helped him get in them doors and whatnot because of what he did with that album, which is
Yeah.
a paradigm. That was a culture shift.
Yeah. And then Jodeci,
I got box off of that album.
Factory.
Fact, Factory. I was that album changed first Berry.
Yeah, like anybody in that era, you don't got that story to tell.
I was
You,
like, wait,
yeah,
what?
you missed. What you was it? You missed the point.
So on March 1st, we are going to experience for the first time a behind the scenes look into the greatest rapper of all times, according to a lot of people, and that's Christopher Wallace, that's Biggie Smalls.
Yeah. Before we get into that though, who conjured that man's spirit and told you that because of the black hole activity, Big is about to be lit in this universe? Who did that?
You did. Why you think we got to
Cause
say?
we gonna nah. I'm just saying if the shit don't get put on record, we be skipping over stuff too much.
All
You know
right,
what I mean?
you know,
What happened?
it's shit. Go ahead.
Huh?
I'll build it up to take you there, but
Oh,
you
nah. Go ahead.
oh,
Go ahead.
nah,
Go
it's
ahead.
too late.
Then.
It's too late.
Nah, you
Go
was talking about it. We're gonna do
ahead.
a behind the scenes.
Before you came on, I was like, Mr. 44 himself, he'll be, very, I'm sure he's somewhere bouncing off of a wall after seeing the Biggie Smalls trailer. You know what I'm talking about? Because you've been speaking about Biggie Smalls as a 44 resonator, real heavy, factoring
I
in, and
mean, yeah.
Obama is in the picture now with Joe Biden in office. Biggie is back. The 44 guards are here, bruh. You know what I'm talking about?
I mean, just because I don't over blow my trumpet. I don't. You know what I'm saying? I don't make a lot. I don't make.
That's a face roller moment. Oh, blow your trumpet.
Yeah.
I really.
I don't OD. I don't OD no more. I don't even put up as many 44 posts. I don't overdo it. You know what I'm saying?
I don't.
But I'm 10 for 10, right? My shit is unmatched. Like you can't. There's nothing left to say.
You should get with the niggas from what's that TV show before niggas start boxing when they be having the whole breakdown.
What?
You know when Mayweather is having a fight,
Oh, 24/7? The
get with them and just do the
oh,
documentary. Yeah,
the
have them follow.
24 shit?
Huh?
Yeah. Have them
Have
follow me.
leading up to like the 44th day of a month, and then just document it because
It's
it's
no
so
44 days in a month, bro. It's 44 days. Look, so yeah, I would have documented it, right? Perfectly.
all access.
And yeah, all that the way that I would have themed it is that I would explain that we are going into the dawning days of the 44th presidency of Donald Trump.
Right,
And then that would have caught mad people off guard. They'd be like, but he's the 45th president. And then I'd have spun them around and explained to them why he is the 44th president and he's
right,
a 44 resonator. And I would explain how his whole presidency is precipitated on the number 44. And then we could have earmarked it like a documentary on the 44th day of the year. He gets, uh, you know, voted not guilty on his impeachment. There
right,
was
right,
44 senators that voted for him for them to send the case. Remember, his lawyer was trying to get the shit annexed,
Right.
right? And thrown out before it even went to trial. The 44 senators voted that it was going, and then he was, even at the impeachment trial, it was 43 for acquittal. They -1, but
Right.
anyway, his shit it never quit. It never failed. I mean, there's so many receipts, so many notes, so many instances to show that he is the 44 doppelganger of the 44th president.
Right.
But while we was caught up into presidential politics in 2008, and people were going to the polls and they were voting on Obama in '08, one of the most because 19 does a juxtaposition between 1995 when he makes a comparison to Farrakhan in the Million Man March and
Right.
the Trojan Horse, which was the internet at the same time, around the same time being ushered in. So
Right.
my iteration of that is 2008, Barack Obama, right?
Right.
And the Bitcoin white sheet.
Right.
Halloween, October 31st, 2008, when Satoshi puts out the white paper, right?
Right.
That was like when they turned on Skynet in Terminator, right? How
What
they
was it?
like, yo, D-Day, August 29th. Huh?
But it was D-Day, August 29th. What year? And when Skynet went online.
It was probably 2013. One of them joints.
Okay. If any of my brothers
Like,
say,
hmm?
please say.
So what?
I said if there's any blurs out there who know the day that Skynet went online, the
Yeah,
exact year.
it was like 2015, but they know the exact day. I'm sure that somebody in the chat remembers what D-Day was in Terminator.
Right.
We do know it was August 29th. What year was it? You know what I'm saying? Just like y'all know what day it was in Back to the Future, right? When the nigga came back. Yeah, 829. Shout out to the Virgos, the 829s in the building. They was totally riding y'all energy. But anyway, you know, so Obama, while we're voting and we're waiting on change and we're heralding change, you know what I'm saying, on October 21st or October 31st, Halloween of 2008, that is when the first clue of Bitcoin comes about, right? Coupled with blockchain by a white paper that was submitted. In that day will forever change the history of the world, right? And
Right.
it's continuous. It's not just politics. It's not like an administration that comes in and comes out, right? Those are the temporary things. Those are the symbolic things that we could say, oh, we lived long enough to see that. You know what I'm saying?
Real quick, let me reset the room. Grover Cleveland is the president who served 2 terms, right? Which,
Yes.
huh?
Yes. Okay. They
Yeah,
said Skynet became aware. It was not August 4th.
they say in 1997.
Not in the movie. I don't think it was.
I've seen it in the
But
chat 3 times. It said 97, and it
okay.
equal they changed it, right? So
Okay. So the 2000s I'm probably referencing is Back to the Future.
it's
All
back
right,
to
but we'll run with that. Um,
October the 15th. All right, 8/29/97 is what.
829,
Yeah.
97.
What up, Nadra? So yeah, make sure y'all go and share this live. This young man is gonna cook. Um, so 97, they're saying the Skynet went online. 97 is the year that Biggie died, right? Because I opened up this episode paying homage and giving all praises due to the memory and the legacy of the young man Pop Smoke, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
Like,
It's Pop Smoke. It's
what,
Pop Smoke Day.
what's his government?
Bashar
Bashar Jackson,
Jackson. Yeah,
right?
yeah. May he rise and continue to rise in power.
Was,
And
huh?
what was his? What year was he born?
Who? Pop Smoke?
Yeah. What,
He was 20 when he died. So he was born in two.
okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
right.
Damn.
I was comparing, right, exactly. I was comparing big, he's born in 99, pardon me. Yeah, he's a 99 baby,
He's a
right?
he's a
99 baby. Double portals,
he's a glitch. Yeah, he's a glitch baby. Okay.
right? So
Makes a
he
lot of
Bashir
sense.
Jackson, right? Bashir Barack Jackson. So that is very
Bashar, right.
right.
Mm-hmm. Bashir, but right. Okay, let's go.
It's very rare where you have people who are middle name Barack. You know what I mean? Barack Hussein Obama is the president, the 44th president. And what does Barack mean?
Barak means blessed.
What else does it mean?
Barak also means to bend.
It's a lightning bearer too, right?
Uh, if you say so.
Yeah, it's to bend at the knee.
Yeah.
It's a room shaker. You know,
You making shit up?
huh?
You making shit up?
Nah, nah,
This
nah.
is the etymology that you know about?
Yeah.
Okay. You got receipts? You got screenshots? All right.
So, you know,
Nigga.
what I'm speaking about is the potentiality that the young had. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah. Let's talk about it.
and then I drew the comparison to Christopher Wallace, to Big Papa, to Biggie, and I spoke about
Right.
the run that Biggie had. That he popped out in '92, and he had a solid 5-year run. You know, and in those, yeah, Who's the Man soundtrack is 1992, right?
Yeah,
Party,
yeah.
he dies in '97. So,
Right.
Mac,
Yeah. I mean, his official run, we could say started. I mean, he warmed it up, but his album came out. He had a 3-year run. Right.
he had a 5-year run,
September 13th, 1994, the same day that the crime bill came out.
right? Is when the album dropped.
Ready to Die came out the same day as the crime bill.
Was he happy
Right.
to die?
He was hot. He was, yes, he definitely was most anticipated. He warmed it up.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And he was able to drop, and that's kind of like where they chart his career from, I guess industry wise, because he started selling records.
Hold on. We have in the chat room, Sister Destiny said, "Rock means lightning."
I
Oh,
I don't know.
Swahili. I'm gonna shake the room. You know what I'm saying? What shakes the room? That lightning and that thunderbolt.
Yeah.
Right? So even the president's name, Barack Hussein Obama, etymology wise, that's a very, very powerful name. Keep in mind that the politicians very rarely evoked his whole, they did not say his whole attribute. They would never
Right, right.
say in his middle
I
name.
did a whole lecture on it. Right,
You
say his name. Yeah, because I explained that the etymology of Hussein is king, but it also means sword. Right, in gematria, it's a powerful name. They would not say his name. They would not say his entire name ever. They would never evoke his name.
no.
Right, because I explained in the whole lecture. I said the power is in his whole name, and shame on him. Not even shame on his competition. Shame on him for never evoking his name. He was convinced by his Democratic Party to tuck his tail. And by tucking his tail, he sheaths his sword. His middle name was his strength because he could have tapped in to be, you know, the king of kings, right?
Right,
He's a Leo, right? His middle name is King,
right,
right? So Leo is the house. Leo is the lion. The lion is Judah. Judah is the king of kings. He's the Leo, who was also middle name king, and he is the leader of the free world at the time, right? So he is the king of this particular this. If you don't want to say he was the emperor of this empire, at least say that he was the king,
right,
right? Because it's understood and recognized, and if you can't apply it to him, don't apply it to Trump. But if you read the reports about the impeachment period, even in the chamber when they was, lining him up, they said that what? He was the most powerful man in the world, right? Sitting in that presidential seat. Because that's what's understood. If you are the leader of the free world, right? Quote unquote, then you are the most powerful person in the planet. If you are the leader of the country that allegedly is supposed to be the most powerful country in the world,
Right.
right? So yeah, by him willingly tucking his tail and not evoking his own name, never speaking his name Barack in public,
Right.
he never was able to tap into that inherent power that his parents cloaked him in by giving him all of that protection and all of that beauty in his name.
Henceforth, why they would take his powerful name and change it to Barry. You know,
Yeah.
they anglicized him, right? They anglicized his name to take the power out of his name. Same thing that they did to our ancestors. When you go and research them, they anglicized a lot of their names. King Philip. Who the hell is a King Philip? You know what I mean? Like, there's all of these different names that they anglicize it, which waters it down. It takes the oomph out of it. You know, even when we create these alter egos, whatnot, that they call nicknames, sometimes your alter ego could give you more power, or it could take away the power of your original name.
It's a fact.
Tory Lanez is the artist name, but that nigga's real name is Daystar.
And he's a Leo.
XXX Tentacion was the artist name, but his government name was Jawset. So there's people out there with some very interesting names, and if you study names, if you study people's attributes, you understand power is in the name, purpose is in the name. There's no mistakes. There's no slave names per se like that. You know,
No,
they
that's
have
disrespectful.
there's a history attached to it, of course, of mixture of bloodlines and things of that nature. But your name is your name. You know what I'm talking about? Nobody, there's no mistakes. There's your purpose is in your name. You know what I mean? Get out of that slave mentality. I saw a clip with KRS-One on Nick Cannon's class. It's going around, and what KRS-One
Did
did,
that whole episode ever come out? Because he
I don't
stayed
think
throwing
so,
clips of it up.
because I haven't watched Nick Cannon in years now. I'm not sure. Um,
Right.
KRS-One brought common sense once again to the table and challenged the slave narrative that so many of us have adopted as our own. And what he was explaining was the quote unquote moniker, or, the misnomer of slave. It does more detriment than it does, it's doing more harm to our people, and it's stopping us from getting to the truth of what really happened, how it happened, when it happened, and who exactly did it happen to. Because what he was talking about is that they were more melanated men and women who bought themselves out of a certain status, not slavery per se, but they bought themselves to be in an upper status. The same situation that we find ourselves in today in society, where you could buy yourself into the 1%. You could pay, if you can afford it, if you can pay for it, you can upgrade yourself and put yourself in a different type of tax bracket. So when you look at it like that, our people were putting themselves in a different type of status. That status did what? It allowed them to be landowners. Slaves can't own land. There's people out here whose great grandparents had estates. I'm not talking about 1 or 2 acres. I'm talking about estates. They own gold. They had acreage. I'm talking about they own towns and whatnot. They had banks. They had, they were inventors. They have patents. Right? They had patents. They were inventors. The things that Texas is suffering from right now, people who look like me and you were the ones who provided the solutions. Radiators, you know what I mean? They were coming up with all kind of ways to heat things. I mean, just look at the TerraPot, simple pots.
Yeah, shout out to Nadra. I seen her share that. Shout out to Supreme Understanding. The brother did
Yes.
a video and he did 10 different ways that a person can, heat themselves up. Very practical, very practical pieces of advice.
Right.
We as a people, always have those home remedies. When COVID hit last year this time, the people knew about the steam pots. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
This is
And
when this is
million.
when the world was introduced to sea moss and elderberry. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
Right. So, in what people may see as disaster or trauma, right, is
right,
opportunities to learn. Even in death, we learn. You know what I mean? Some of these rappers that we speak of and we unpack them and we speak of their impact, that's not while they're alive. It's almost rude to talk about a nigga while he alive because his ego might attack you.
right,
You can't assess and you can't necessarily put a living man and woman on a scale.
right,
You could weigh them when they dead.
right,
You could put them on the scales when they make transition. You could weigh their impact. You could measure them, right? Because the book of life, that book is now written. This shit is either a pamphlet or it's an encyclopedia based off of what it is that you've done in this life. But you can't necessarily measure people too tight when they're alive. That's why people always putting niggas in a horse race against each other and, all of this stuff. That's not really, that's not what's up. Unfortunately, our culture, hip hop, and our community, we're underneath those spells right now, to whereas we measure everybody against each other, and it's almost this competition, like this shit is contact, a non-contact sport. You know what I mean? And that's cool, but the real
is it?
measure, man, huh?
I said, is it cool?
I mean, it is, because it's the culture. It's something that is a aspect of the culture. We belong to competition culture. We belong to a culture, like I was saying earlier, about the drill music inspiring black men to be in competition with other black men, right? But what I said was, well, we could begin to judge it for what it is today. But when you look back in time, when wasn't there a time where our tribes were not going against each other and not, attempting to be the top tribe? You know what I mean? We
I
were
mean,
all
that depends. That depends on what narrative you bought into, because there's a lot of narratives that have you believe that the Africans was just free form, free loving. You know what I'm saying?
here.
And that's definitely not the case. You know what I'm saying?
Like, they,
They did not even, you know, they had a
they,
respect.
the Africans wasn't woo dancing with each other, y'all.
It was, yeah, it wasn't Wu dancing. Everybody had
They was
a
they was spinning
hold on,
the Serengeti.
they were spinning the Serengeti, and everybody had a respect for one another's. Whereas my tribe didn't mix with your tribe, right? There was
That's
no tribe mixing.
that's
There
a
was no
fact.
tribe mixing. And
Not
you could be like, yo, we all got the same genetics. We the same people. Try telling your ancestors that, right? Because your ancestors knew something enough about other tribes where there was not allowed to be no tribe mixing, no mixing of those genes. And it wasn't only because they had cultural differences, right? There
right.
was genetic qualities about that tribe. Yo, our tribe has the ability to see long distances. Our tribe has the ability to endure higher heights, like Kenyans. Kenyans can run at a particular pace, right?
Yeah,
Long endurance races because they live at a higher altitude, so they have a greater propensity to process oxygen.
facts.
You feel me? Why would a Kenyan, right, mixed with a Twa?
Right. What's the advantage in that?
What's the advantage in that, right?
More
There wasn't random breeding based on the fact that, oh, she got a fatty, right? I'm into midget porn, so I seen a Twa and she got a fatty, you know what I'm saying? But the nigga 7 foot, and y'all conjuring all type of imagery in your head, but our people never saw that because that
But
wasn't it didn't go
I,
down like that.
they didn't have a basketball wives for the twas where they was feeling tall niggas. They're like, yo, let's go find them 8 foot tall, you know what I mean? Twa basketball wives. They didn't have that.
They ain't had that.
You
You know what I'm saying?
they didn't
And
have
there wasn't a longing for it. Like the twa woman wasn't like, oh, I need a tall, lanky nigga.
they was looking for the short nigga that was lit.
They was looking for, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. They was
They was
staying
looking for the
grounded.
nigga under 5 feet, yeah.
Right.
That had shit lit. You know what I mean? They had a Napoleon complex. That's what they was looking for. And
They
there
was
was a reason for that.
yeah, they was
And, and,
keeping up
and
twa.
you didn't find you didn't find shit that was out of order, you know, in these particular societies. But these societies were also not all cool with one another like that, right?
Right.
Even in the Congo right now. And, you know, of course, we can't look at the continent in this through the same lens today as it deserves to be looked at through, you know what I'm saying, in antiquity,
Yeah.
right? But we could say, oh, the Twa, right, are being, um, they're still held in some level of captivity and slavery from individuals in the Congo that are the taller ones, you know, 6 foot. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And they subjugate those people. They have to pay tribute to them, or they'll run down on them and kill them.
Right.
You feel me?
Right.
There was a lot of that going on. There was a lot of that going on. You know,
That went
war.
happened in the Americas.
Hmm?
That happened in the Americas with the mound builders, with the giants of the giants in Akron
Yeah.
and the giants and whatnot.
The
And then
the the Hopewell Giants, right, and the Adinas, the Adina tribe, the Adina Giants, and the Hopewell were fighting. The
right,
Hopewells were fighting the Lenapes. You know what I'm saying? All the way up into the late 1800s.
that's a fact.
So they was squabbling over here. There's 500 civilized tribes, right, that are part of this continent. They were scrapping. This was before the European came.
Before the Euro came, they were scrapping.
They were scrapping in South America. They were scrapping in Central America.
Right, the Confederacies and whatnot. They were scrapping in Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, and the Mississippian tribes. They were scrapping. When you go and you do the research about when the Moors fell to the conquistadors and the and Christendom, the Moors, different dynasties was scrapping. You know what I'm talking about? They was going after each other. There was power struggles within their whole empire. So tribal warfare is, you know, the war drum or the warrior spirit. It exists in man before white people started looking at us, right? It exists in them and it exists in us, right? Competition. Um, you know, what you see in the Serengeti or what you see in the quote unquote pride of lions and whatnot. There's gonna be a lion that's gonna come amongst another male lion and he's gonna assert his dominance on some alpha shit. Egos are going to clash of the titans. You know what I'm talking about? So this is not something it would behoove you to always point fingers at your natural quote unquote adversary. The same way that a cat and a rat are natural adversaries in this reality that we exist in, and Sophia Stewart helped me correct it because I used to talk about dualities. She explained polarities. You know what I mean? We exist in a reality of polarities and whatnot. So when you understand the polarity aspect of things, then you don't, you know, you don't become knocked off of your quote unquote you're not in the streets crying and whatnot and saying, why don't you like me? Or I can't believe somebody is my adversary. Or why do we have antagonists and protagonists? You know what I mean? Like you approach this thing from a non-emotional stance. You're able to move on and not become a victim, because being a victim is debilitating. Henceforth, why drill music and why gangster rap and other music like that is so appealing, because it's the antithesis to victimhood. You becoming, you know what I mean? Niggas is not talking, they're not making songs about how they got stomped out. Pop Smoke didn't blow up by talking about how niggas smacked him. He blew up when he said, I smoked a pack of that nigga. That's when he started getting hot. You know what I'm talking about? And in the video, they were doing what was equivalent to a modern day war dance. They was in a liquor store, ganged up, gang, nigga, and they was talking that talk. And then later on, and like I said about Pop, the reason why he is important and the reason why we're still talking about him a year after his transition, many rappers died last year. Rise and power to all of them. But who had that messianic force based off of the impact. So he refined drill music. That's something that Chief Keef didn't do. No offense, and I'm not trying to make this a regional thing and whatnot. That's not even something that Bobby Shmurda and them did. He refined that shit. You know what I'm talking
Mhm.
about? He leveled it
Put
up.
layers. You put layers on it.
He did more than just put layer. He put aesthetics to it. If you niggas is not in some Dior, you know what I'm talking about? What's the Dior stock? I'm ready. Hold on. Let me go to my Robin Hood. Cause you niggas finna make that shit another $1 billion company. How about that? God damn it.
They haven't
He,
already.
he refined it. He put layers to it. He made the shorties interested in even dealing with it. He cleaned it up.
Yeah.
It's not about,
Yeah.
I gotta spin the block and kill the op and whatnot. If I see the op, I'm gonna step on him. But while I'm out with my shorty, like I'm gonna enjoy my life. You know what I mean? I'm gonna enjoy my
Yeah,
life.
it was, yeah, he represented that dichotomy, where the presence of death was always there, but we're gonna live it up at the same time. You know what I'm saying? The love of life also was being expressed and embraced. You feel
That's
me?
right.
This was clearly somebody, who you can identify that did not want to check out. And it has a stark, you know, um, comparison, if you will, to Big Story. Because, Big may have started out one way, but at the time of his transition, I don't think that he was suicidal. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that he was ready to check out. I don't think that he had given up on life. I don't think that he was Christopher Wallace of 1994 when he was recording that project, 93 or 92. He had turned the corner and he had seen the promise of life. He had a new child. He's spending new money, new possibilities. He
Life,
had new ventures. Hmm?
life after death,
He was living life after death. You
right?
know what I'm
Like,
saying? So, yeah. But his mantra caught up to him, you know?
you know, it did. It did.
Yeah,
Uh,
just like Pop Smoke.
well, I would beg to differ, because, like I said, what was Pop Smoke's mantra? Was he ready to die?
They say live by the sword, die by the sword.
Oh, that
You
part.
feel me? You know what I'm saying? So yeah, like the music was still based on, a level of violence and retribution, you know what I'm saying, and things of that nature, kill or be killed, you know.
That's right.
So,
You
you
know,
know,
and you know, I'm not gonna say unfortunately, but that's a stark reality in a lot of people's lives who are in inner cities and are engaging in the culture of the inner city. That's just the best way to describe it. The culture of the inner city. You know what I mean? And even where it's not an inner city, if you go to quiet towns, niggas are emulating the inner city. You know what I'm talking about? I've driven through towns where the real estate is prime real estate. Niggas live in houses, bro, 3-family home houses. And they do everything in their aesthetic to try to look like they living in a bando, or they try to do everything to look like they hard or something. You know, they're mimicking what it is that they see in the quote unquote inner city, and they're making their lives hard. Nobody did that to them. They're copying a lot. They're copying the struggle and whatnot, or they're copying. They're trying to mimic, the smoke the niggas in the inner city or in the hood are having, and they never had to do that. I seen towns that were considered to be progressive towns turn into zombie towns because the niggas in the town wanted to start cooking crack and put the motherfucking residents of the town on drugs. You understand? So deaf culture is a virus. You can't wear a mask to get away from it either. Deaf culture is a virus, and that virus has infected a lot of people. The act of selling, which was once sacred, for not even a Bitcoin, my nigga, you selling it for $40. You know what I'm talking about? You didn't even put that on
Yeah,
Robinhood.
you're selling it for some Satoshis.
You can't even sell it for a token. You know what I mean? Imagine if,
Not a whole token. You're not
yo,
even getting a.
imagine if they changed. Imagine they changed the whole game to you can't get no box without a Bitcoin.
Should it be different?
Should it be real different? If I was a hoe, I would step my game
Yeah.
up and be like, look, if a nigga want to hit that Bitcoin,
Yeah, not even an
and
Ethereum,
lay,
shorty.
lay out mad thirst traps. I'll do the silhouette challenge and everything. I'll just thirst niggas. I'll be like, yo, if you want to hit, it's a Bitcoin. Like, I got my wallet. Like, holla at me, niggas.
Yeah. Who's the first shorty to sell some box full of Bitcoin?
On a blockchain.
The box check.
Yo, where my code
Yeah.
is at? Hold on.
We gotta
Yo,
watch out
inbox
on these
me.
apps. Because
Inbox me
niggas will fuck
tonight.
around and run with
The
that.
evil
There's gonna be
genius.
a
I'm
whole
gonna put
app
the box chain.
tomorrow. The box chain. Oh man, son. Yeah,
Yo,
I
hit up
got
Earn
watch.
Your Leisure. The niggas gotta interview us. We the creators of the box chain.
Yeah,
You know what I'm talking
we
about?
got we gotta
Black
wipe that
wealth.
away. You gotta wipe that away. You gotta wipe that away. You gotta wipe that away.
Looking through the window. Looking through the window.
You gotta wipe that away. And it's too good of an idea, right? That's what I'm like. None of you niggas still at this. I'm going to the dark web.
Facts. I mean, the evolution will be digitized. Everything is going digital,
You know?
including, the shit that y'all love to do. It's
Yeah.
on digital. I mean, they were
I think
selling birds on the dark web with Bitcoins before you niggas knew what a Bitcoin was.
that.
Just keep that in mind. In 2010, niggas was selling birds, choppers, rocket launchers. How you think Rondo #9 got his rocket launcher? All of that was coming off of the deep web, primarily off of a website called the Silk Road. You know, how convenient. You know what I'm talking about? That was the trade route that niggas like us that looked like us was running
Yeah.
way back
Yeah.
in the day. The Silk
Yeah.
Road made the Moors rich. And the Silk Road,
In antiquity, he's talking about the actual Silk Road that
right?
was the throughway between Africa, Asia, and Europe,
India,
right? And India, right?
Spice,
So the East, period, right? All aspects of the East. It was the unifying um, artery, if you would,
right?
right? Between the trade,
It was the funnel.
okay? It was the funnel. Don't ever buy into the concepts that your people were not merchants and navigators who went all around the world 1,000 times over.
We
Do
were
not
minor.
buy into this concept, yes, that we was fucking slaves only,
Hey, we were
and
minor.
we made contact with the world, you know, in the 1500s when they put us on a boat or some stupid shit like that.
Yeah. Fuck out of
That
here.
ain't it.
We
You
were
can go, yeah, you can go and look at, you know, I mean, there's movies to give it up. You know what I'm saying? What was the movie with Maximus? Which one was that?
Kingdom of Heaven.
No,
Oh,
with
300.
Russell Crowe.
Oh, with the mask, with the MF Doom mask.
Yeah, Gladiator,
Gladiator.
right? You could go look at Gladiator when Rome was an empire and they had certain provinces and things of that nature. You know, they show you um Bajol, what's his name? How you pronounce homie name?
Give us
Baiman.
three. Who?
Yes, give us free. Yes, give us free. Yeah,
Uh,
him. You know, they showed him in the cage. He was a captured African. I think they said he was a Libyan or some shit like that.
right.
You know,
Which would be a
they,
Carthaginian.
yeah, Rome. Yeah, we can even go to 300 when they showed you the Persians, right? The melanated brother that got kicked down the hole. We ain't even talking about Xerxes. We talking about, you know, when they kept showing
His
you us.
messenger.
Yes, when they kept showing you us,
His emirate.
even
The,
right. Yes, emissaries,
yeah, the
right?
emissary was
Melanated. Yeah, these was our representatives. We've always pushed around the planet, and not just through our transmigration of populating the planet. We're talking about trade, continual
trade. Look,
trade.
when the Europeans came over here in their initial in their initial quote unquote
Foray.
occupation, right? They were known as traders. The same thing, when you go to Trader Joe's, there was Trader Tom, there was Trader Joe, there was Trader John, there was Trader Bob. These were traders. They would trade silk. I mean, they would trade pelts. They would trade furs. They would
Yeah,
trade beaver.
it was called trappers as well. Yes.
They were also called trappers, right? They were traders
Mhm.
and trappers. That's their titles, right? So if they were traders and trappers, imagine what the fuck we were. We were Jack Ma at one point. We were the plug, nigga. We were Alibaba. Okay? We were merchants. We were illustrious. When our ships pulled up, that is the equivalent of walking into Amazon headquarters, into one of their distribution sites. That's what we were coming with. We were coming with the goods, all right? And our trade route, which was the Silk Road, was worth billions of dollars. And that's how Moors, that's how Asians, that's how Indians, and that's how Africans got rich. Fast forward to the world that we live in now, it was the Silk Road that got motherfucking Eurasians, which are Russians, Indians, Africans, which are Nigerians, and Moors, which are niggas. It got them rich because I promise you, there are tons of people. The shit hit 55 just now, right? With a $1 trillion
It actually hit
market cap.
56. It hit
It
56.
hit 56 Bitcoin.
I
There
watched
are
it. Yeah.
people who have wallets full of coins from illicit activities scaling all the way back to the days of the Silk Road, and they never got. They are holders. Hold the door. They're holders. Remember Hold the Door from Game of Thrones, nigga? Hold the door. Hold your fucking coin, Sonic. You know what I mean? And they got rich on the Silk Road.
Hold
Same
on.
way.
Yes, Grand Rising mechanics. Yes, Moors had slave. They had prisoners of war. They had it all. Right. This is not. This is not. This is not to sanitize the imagery or the personage of who and what Moors were. Moors were also the pirates. You know, just like you've seen in the Super Bowl, they were the Buccaneers. They were the denationalized. You know, Moors with no land. You know what I'm saying? Who had to get it out the mud, get it how they live. You feel me?
Look,
So this
there,
this is not a
there
this
were
is
no
again
penitentiaries.
no. I'm just saying like
No,
because you can't
I'm clarifying.
hold on. It's
Mm-hmm.
almost like you can't teach or talk, right? Because we live in a puritanical society, we
Mm-hmm.
can't even teach about people if they got a stain on them. They're like everything has to be sanctified and pure, you know what I'm
Christian.
saying, and up to scale. Like, nah, that's not what we
People
talking
like,
about. Them niggas was angels and archangels, right? And you know what I'm saying? They would be considered what you considered valiant and good and fucking evil and demonic and cutthroats and all of that, right? Just like you can say about the historical record of how people, point blank period, case in point, you got revolutionaries and you got niggas who sold crack that you parade and celebrate and hold up. You know what I'm saying? And that's the epitome of realness in your society. It's the same shit, right? So a nigga who sells crack to a crackhead, he got slaves. How about that?
yeah, his fiends are his slaves. They're
His
in.
fingers is his motherfucking, that's his harem of slaves.
That's his plantation. The bando is a plantation. It's a harem of slaves who are slaves to crack cocaine,
No
and he
different.
supplies it. And back in the days, they didn't have penitentiaries. So if we went to war with your tribe, going back to what I was saying initially, before you know before they came with the constitutions and these laws and these where the whole world is under the Geneva Convention and all of these other things, there were ways, there were rules of engagement, and the rules of engagement were such, if we would even have duels and whatnot based off of this if we had a disagreement, we would have to take it into a state of dueling. And if I killed you in a duel, then I would take your family from you afterwards. They did not have penitentiaries, they did not have federal facilities, they did not have Guantanamo bays, they didn't have those type of apparatuses. Back in those days, you had landlords, you have feudal landlords who owned the land, right? They owned the land that you lived on. They owned everything that you were, that your family was utilizing, like the water, like the land, the agriculture. You would grow food for other people, and your daughters or your sons would be, they would have to serve the king's army. They would have to be the front, they would have to be the infantry, you know what I mean? And your daughters were being groomed and divinely prepared to be married off and whatnot. And they would trade her for a fucking cow. You know what I'm talking about? Or a sheep, my nigga. So you want to apply these post indoctrination, right? The anglicized version, this Snow White anglicized Christianized mentality of what the past looks like and what it appeared as, in this Hollywood sanitized version of what these small hats have created through their movies and whatnot about what the ancient past was. And that's not necessarily the case.
Yeah,
Okay?
then
That's
it
not how
scrambled your perceptions of how to receive and perceive reality, based on movies. And we can see the
that's right.
evidence of it,
We're
right?
not
And then,
drawing from movies. You
yeah,
feel
and I'm no better than you know what I'm saying? But I did the research. I got into history. I read the books. I dealt with the ugly truth of it. And I was able to shake myself out of that illusionary, dream that we all participated in at one point or another. So this is not a I know more than you, better than you, I get it and you don't. It ain't none of that. We're just
right?
saying, yo, but the information is available to you. You might not have ever thought to look for it, or you probably didn't even know it existed. But now that you've heard some semblance of it, you should go and do a little bit of your own research so you can be blown away. Because, my whole thing, I be telling people, as much as you want to know yourself, the universe wants to be known as well, right? The past wants to be uncovered. So shit started, it'll start talking to you and pointing you in directions and showing you shit that's exclusive to you that might not be exclusive to me. You know what I'm saying? And you get qualified by through that by the research.
Right, right.
You get qualified through that experience by doing the research only. Even if you allow it someplace in your mind, shit'll start popping up on YouTube. You start magnetizing truth to you. So just allow yourself to be um, exposed to a different reality or the flip side of what you thought that you knew. You feel me?
Right. So, going back to what I was initially saying about the Silk Road and, you know, who we inherently are is who we are today. You know what I mean? We are still traders. We are still miners. You know what I mean? We are still merchants. You know what I'm talking about? We are still explorers. We are still industrious, and we are still illustrious. It never changed. The only thing that necessarily changed was the form. But we're still here, and we're still doing what we've been doing. You know, and we are always gonna have opposition. We're always gonna have because there's always somebody that wants to take over your trade routes. You know, and cryptocurrency has opened up a new trade route. The cryptocurrency world, the blockchain has opened up new trade routes. The altcoins, they've opened up new trade routes. You know, financial literacy is opening up new trade routes. There's different roads that you could go down now and tap into a stream of some good water, you know what I mean, and drink from it. The proverbial income streams. So all of these things, um, that we're identifying are, they're all things that are taking place right now in the now. You know what I mean? It's not speculation. It's not nothing we got to wait for. It's actually some things that you don't want to be too late for. So, yeah,
What you ain't gotta wait for, you don't want to be too late for.
that's a
Real
fact.
talk.
You know,
Real talk.
um, so yeah, this is a year today. I remember waking up and going on my phone, and I saw the article that the brother Pop Smoke got murdered.
Bro, it was 8:30. I remember it like it was yesterday. Now that
Right,
I could revisit it,
right,
I was like, what the fuck? Are you serious?
yeah, that was
Like,
crazy.
I had just seen an interview with him. His mixtape just dropped, right? A
Right,
week prior to that. A week prior to that. Welcome to the Wu Part 2 drop.
I remember
I
that.
just finished listening to it. I was making my own, oh, I like this song, not so much that song. Then you should have saved this for the album, X, Y, and Z. Seen an interview with him, you know what I mean? I was like, like the brothers, the future. You know what I'm saying? I can't wait to see sonically what an album is gonna sound like in terms of his inflections, his ad libs, the different sounds, the different sonics that he was bringing to the game. And the fact that I'm like, shit, he's like the East Coast Travis Scott in terms of, you know, and then to for us in particular, we come from Flatbush, we come from Brooklyn, so we've been waiting on the artistry to merge the Caribbean sounds and flavor and stylings, with what I'm saying, this ADOS aspect of what we consider black music to be American based,
Mm,
right? We like when this shit go through Brooklyn and certain, corridors, it's gonna come out curried up. It's gonna come out looking different,
that's
a
right.
la Biggie Smalls, you know what I'm saying? So we were just like, yo, I can't wait to see sonically, you know, because this young God is creative. He's not just a cookie cutter drill rapper, right? He's actually making music. He's making infectious music, and like we seen on the album, he also was moving towards that range. That once you prove you're gangster, then you start making music for the ladies. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right,
50 Cent. So I'm like, all of his shit is not gonna be ignorant. He's still talking to shorties. He's speaking infectious about, heavy melanated skin women. He's bigging them up, you know what I'm saying? He ain't on the yellow shit and all of that stupidness. So I'm like, yo, all right, let's see what he got. You feel me? And then he got
right,
cut short. He got cut short. And
right. And I
You
wasn't
know.
initially a fan in the beginning, like, you know, off of first listen. I remember my son put me on. My son was listening, and I was like, "Fam, what's going on? Is this like, what are we doing?" And he was like, "Nah, you know, this is what's up." And then, you know, after a while, it began to grow on me. But it's like you said, when I start finding out who the person is underneath the music, you know, that's when I get interested. When I hear your interviews and I could feel, I could see something. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh, it's bigger than the music, because sometimes an artist is just the music, and that's okay. You know, that's okay. You're not required to be more than a musician. You know, that's, you know, if you really required to make a fucking song, to be honest with you. But after you do an interview and you show certain type of other qualities, you become an artist.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and then you start doing it, and then I start seeing the dances and everything. And like I said, coming from Flatbush, coming from Brooklyn, you know, coming from a very club heavy background where
Dance hall driven.
we went
Yeah.
to we went to discotheques, you know, we was in
Yeah.
the hip hop clubs.
Shout out to rest in peace to Daddy U Roy.
Rest in peace to Daddy U Roy, another
Yes. King Addies.
Addies, a legend that made transition the other day as well. You know, when I saw the interview, I was like, oh nah, this nigga got it.
Just got it.
It
Yeah. This nigga's not Bobby Shmurda.
yeah,
This is
I'm like,
not that.
different. He's not the
He's
he's not
different.
his ops, and he's not the other people that came before him. He knows something that we don't know. His confidence was crazy, right? So when it happened, it just was like, damn. It was a shock, because remember the Kobe shit, I was still in shock from that. Then the Pop Smoke shit happened,
Mm.
and whenever I'm really into an artist, like I'm listening to their interviews, you know, because I was in that wormhole, the same wormhole that you was in. The new mixtape dropped. I didn't like it like I liked the first one. It wasn't as primal. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? It sounded a little rushed and whatnot. But I love the fact that he was shooting at Casanova on that song. That's kind of what got me interested. I was like, hold on. This nigga's taking shots at homie, because I don't really, you know, Casanova's not the most likable. You know what I mean? I used to think he was trying too hard,
Right.
and he wasn't talented like that. You know what I mean? And that's no offense to Casanova at all, but you know, I didn't see the talent like that.
Yeah, it was almost like a mockery of the music to some degree.
Right. So there's a
Mhm.
thin line. You know what I mean? There's a thin line. And when it came to Brooklyn artists, you know, I was willing to be like, you know what, everything don't have to be bar lyric heavy and whatnot. You know, I'm willing to see what Brooklyn can create. You know what I mean? For the youth. Because that's who's really it's for. The youth are going, they're dancing to a different type of drum, you know. Um, and they're more, because keep in mind, strip club culture took over New York in the last 5 or 6 years. So that's why artists like Cardi was popping, Young and May with her single, the Ooh and everything, Cardi B, Takashi, you know, and all of these artists are affiliated, you know, and that means a lot in the New York culture as well, because that's just the energy that they're on. So, you know, I say all of that to say, you know,
Yeah, the link is in the bio. We do got a whole lecture coming up on
we do
Sunday. You
do
feel
this
me?
right. I pushed it to 9 o'clock. It was gonna be at 6 o'clock, but I'm gonna put it at 9. It's gonna be from 9 until. It's gonna feature a special guest, which is my good brother Blue Pillar, Mr. 44. He's gonna be bringing his information to the table. I'm going to be bringing my information to the table. We're going to be doing a lot more predictions going into 2021. This is only the first quarter, and look at where we at. I got a lot to talk about with Texas. I have a lot to talk about. I did some research. I was going deep diving last night. That whole Texas with that
Right.
separate energy grid and them rolling blackouts and them pipes that was bursting and all of that malfunction that took place in the place that's trying to succeed. You know what I mean? Big old
Sus-
Texas
Succeed, right? Succeed,
succeed. And
right?
the harm that they willingly put their residents in. I'm talking about the state of Texas, not just Houston. The state of Texas, the whole state got hit by the snow in the freezing cold,
The
and
whole state.
the whole entire state, and the whole
Are
state,
you sure?
yo, fam, it said the whole state got blanketed.
That's a lot of snow.
That is a they calling it a snowpocalypse. They're giving it
Oh,
this.
another one.
Yes, they're giving it the same title that they gave the Boston snowstorm. 4 degrees. I'm talking about it fucked the whole shit up, bro. The gas, the electric, the oil, all of that shit had to get shut down. The plants can't run because they need a certain type of they need a certain type of watt. Yo, it's a shit show unlike any other shit show, right?
Hmm. They said that the energy company turned his number off and shut his website down, bro.
Right. A privately owned, right? Uh energy grid sounds a lot like Enron from back in the
Yeah,
day.
yeah, yeah. They sound like them Orcon. What they call?
The one in Texas.
Yeah, they sound like the name sounds like Enron.
Yeah, exactly. The name sounds just the damn same. And,
Yeah,
and
yeah. So hold on. Yeah, like peace, love, light, strength, valor, resilience. You know what I'm
right,
saying? To everybody in the state of Texas and surrounding areas as well.
right.
Yes, you know,
Irk, shout
um,
out to Chef Aki.
ERCOT, yeah. Don't
And,
shout out to Chef Aki. Do not drink the water. I saw the videos of contaminated waters and parasites in them. You know what I'm saying? This is a stage 4 event because these people are dealing with no water, no food, no electricity, and they're in freezing weather, right? Like, what's going on?
right.
You feel me?
And this definitely could have been prevented based off of them winterizing their equipment, which they did not do. This is oil rich Texas we're talking about. This is big beef, my niggas. You know what I
Right.
mean?
So they got the money.
This is the third largest GP,
Gross domestic, right?
yeah. So they are admitting that they had the money, but they decided not to because they state that Texas is not used to that type of weather. But
Right.
based off of the Trump administration's blindness to certain type of environmental issues, the whole 4 years, a lot of people had their head in the sand when it came to things like that. So somebody said a lot of people are making money off of this tragedy. Damn, I mean, shit, you know? Look at that.
I mean, yeah, yeah, it's unfortunate, but the hotels are the Marriott. I read somebody's testimony. He was like, "Yo, they wanted 4 and change a night." Our brother Rajay, he was in Houston. They wanted 3 and change a night. You know what I'm saying? In the hotel that he was staying in.
Right,
So we know that the economic engine of America, capitalism, is not going to take a pause, right? The rule is that you don't squander any tragedy. That's economics in America. That's capitalism, unfortunately. So when supply does not outweigh demand and demand is outweighing supply, then
right,
unfortunately, you know what I'm saying?
right. So,
Unfortunately, yes, the money does spike, and Chef Aki made a good point, right? And somebody had the brother Raji requested that, we put together a preparation and readiness course, class, conference, something of that nature, because once again, we know that there's certain segments of society that have been ready. You know what I'm saying? They have been ready. They have generators. They have backup generators. They have rations. You know what I'm saying? You can have rations stored in your house, food to eat for a year, right? They don't even take up the corner. Now, once again, this goes back, and Red said it, you could have been economically viable in neighboring states to be like, I'm gonna bring dump trucks down there. I'm gonna bring ice trucks with salt.
Salt out of
We
Atlanta.
in the South. It can't be that hard to get down there with these trucks, with the ice. You know what I'm saying? And you know, rescue some people or help a situation out, right? If you're looking for an economic opportunity, I'm sure that there's a lot. You go down there with heated trucks. You feel me? They don't have no more gas in the stations. You can bring gas down there. You know, I mean, all of this might sound, you know, like too little, too late type of information, but again, we're almost in a 1 year window, right? Because Pop Smoke reminds me, oh, COVID wasn't even full blown yet. COVID gets full blown in the US
After
in March,
March,
right?
right,
Mid March. Remember, they canceled the NBA season in March Madness in the second week of March.
right,
That's when it started exploding. So we haven't even come into a whole full year of us being under COVID. Nobody had rations in the crib. Like, no melanated people had already been like, yo, got generators. I got rations in my crib. This was preparation that should have been in place from last year because of COVID and being locked in the crib and not knowing when you was gonna come outside, right?
right.
But the Europeans, they have, you know, they've been prepping for a minute. So I
Yeah,
don't know what the story is in terms of the racial dichotomy of, oh, these people was ready for this versus, you know, our people wasn't. Every time that I see somebody on TV, they all look like they got hit.
right. That's a fact.
Yeah, somebody made another point. All the military bases in Texas.
It's very, very military. You know, very military towns. You know, once again, man, for all of the family
So
that's
right, and you know, not to be conspiratorial, but this is Daddy Bush's back. You know, this is his backyard. You feel me?
yeah,
This is Daddy Bush's backyard. And Daddy Bush and them is in the oil business. They are in the energy business. You know what I'm saying? Where's the administration? Is the old cabal back up to their tricks? This shit feels like Katrina all over again. Like
it's
when I seen Bun B, it felt like Hurricane Harvey Part Two.
facts.
I'm tired of seeing this brother cry. You know, shout out to Trader Truth, shout out to Bun B. Them niggas deserve a ticket tape parade. Shout out to Pop Darby once again springing into action.
Right.
Shout out to
Yo,
Raspy for utilizing his platform. You know what
Raspy.
I'm saying? And everybody else, again, the brother Supreme Understanding, you know, for doing the video showing people techniques to heat their homes, right?
You know,
Yeah. And then just not to cut you, but you know, the fact that Joe Biden kept standing up there talking about how it was gonna be a dark, cold winter.
yeah, a dark winter. That was one of his lines. He was invoking that. You know, so a dark winter is a night with no electricity and it's 4 degrees outside, right?
Mm.
No electricity, no lights, no type of heating whatsoever. And you're in Texas and it's 4 degrees and the pipes burst in the house, right? And it's pouring water from the roof of your house, right? A dark winter, a dark winter, okay? So Joe Biden is nowhere to be found. Where's Kamala? Where's Kamala at? Where's Kamala with the tucked in Timberlands, with the waterproof Timbs, with her fucking pants tucked in? Where's she at giving people
Yeah.
uh,
Where
instructions on how to tuck their
where
Timbs?
is this administration at? Right? Where is this Democratic, bleeding heart liberal administration at that they're gonna politicize this situation, right? To say, oh, that's a red state and I'm not coming to the rescue. Like,
Right.
where are the Democrats at? Because Houston is the fourth largest melanated city in the country. Those
Facts.
people are primarily Democrats, right? Why are they not receiving the relief that they deserve at this particular time, right? Same way that you can drop ventilators and generators and all of that to hospitals during COVID. Where's the backup? Because again, no one's talking about what's going on with the hospitals, what's going on with COVID, right? Because people now got to come from other people's cribs. They're telling them, look, more people in the crib is better, right?
Right.
Ain't nobody talking about COVID. Can
Right.
COVID proliferate in cold temperatures as opposed to hot temperatures? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
They got on two masks, so you can't even hear. They totally muffled. You
Mm,
can't hear nothing. Where's Kamala at? Where's Joe Biden at?
Charlie
Where's
Brown.
this administration? Are they still on goddamn? They
They
on the pines
they
they on the pines with Trump at Mar-a-Lago
nah they in
playing
Tulum
golf,
Cruz.
huh?
They in Tulum with Ted Cruz.
Oh,
They
they in
went to
Tulum. They in Can yeah, they in Cancun. These niggas is in Cancun. But no, the irony is that Biden is on video, right, with other global powers talking about climate change and global warming.
right.
You feel me? Ironically enough, when a whole state is freezing, the largest state in the union, this shit
They didn't
makes no
find,
sense.
right. I'm
And at the
saying
same time, Bill Gates is on tour talking about what two things is he talking about? Climate change, right? In the beef industry.
right.
So he's talking about the energy industry because the energy climate change is them, right? Talking about deading coal and gas. That's what they're talking about. That's couched in the word. When you hear them speaking about climate change, they're
Right.
speaking about we have to global reset the energy industries
Right.
of the globe to take them off of coal burning and oil,
Oil.
petroleum, and put them on clean gas. That's what they're speaking about, and how to appease their billion-dollar partners who they was used to making rich and doing so much business with, to now shift the focus to make new billionaires in a new economy and do it without going to war. So,
The Elons of
or yeah,
but the
some people might say, oh, but they're part of the same cabal. Granted, but this is going to be a major, major industrial shift when they take people off of gas guzzling cars and things of that nature and put them into free energy or clean energy, right? Which
right.
come to the lecture and I'll tell you what the plan is and the play is for that and how that's a setup as well. But then he's also talking about getting rid of the cattle industry. You feel me? He's talking about, so while he is putting, this nigga's cold blooded, right? And I told Red, I said, watch and wait till he starts his campaign. It's going to be between February and March because February is when he come out with the book, and March is when they do the virtual Davos conference. And the virtual Davos conference is when they are going to lay out the groundwork. The book is just to give people the blueprint,
Right.
right? Not the common person, the people that are, the thinkers, the 1% and the people who are now gonna fall in place and follow the leaders to say, oh, this is how they're manipulating society in reality now for this global reset that's coming. The global reset indictment or instructions comes with the Davos conference that's coming up. They're going to lay out what the global reset is. That's the Agenda 21 and everything else that people is talking about, right? Then they have another Davos conference towards the end of the year, right? And then they got this global city conference coming up in Chicago with Rahm Emanuel and them. And that's another play that they're speaking about. Global cities, right? No more nationhood. This is an attack on sovereignty because now they're talking about forming global cities. And the global cities will make mayors presidents, right?
Mm.
So I'm watching it and I'm seeing the way this shit is playing and the power that they're giving mayors as opposed to governors, right?
Right.
The governors are not the ones that are pressing the governors are almost on the sideline, even in Texas. It's the mayors of these cities that are responsible for running these plays. Hence the fact
Right.
that homie had to quit.
Right.
So yeah, like they coming for the meat industry because he's talking about fake meat, right? He done
My,
bought up all that land.
yeah.
They
My.
killed off, yeah, they knocked the entire cattle industry off with this play.
Right.
Okay. You
The
know
one.
the snow ain't real. So, y'all can fill in the blanks when it comes to where the hell the snow came from. I'm not gonna get into it, right? Because I don't have the facts, right? But I'm just saying, if I was a betting man, I'm looking at this shit. I'm like, well, snow that don't melt. Where have we seen that before?
You know what I'm talking about?
But I mean, yeah, just think about the spell of Americanism and the fact that we can't even have an intellectual conversation in the open with people, even though you got the evidence in your hand, right? No, let's spend an hour asking what the hell is that. We can go over every conclusive idea, Google everything that can give you a reason, right? And you still wouldn't make sense of it all. That's the shit that they be spraying in props for movies, my niggas. That's not real snow.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, shout out to my brother Supreme Understanding the Science Itself. Like I said, he did an amazing video showing people how to warm their homes, right? 10 effective ways. You know what I'm saying? So everybody that is utilizing their platform to be there for people, right? Because we're not playing politics. We're not separate from our people. These are our people that are suffering. They got babies, man. They got, these is the wizards and everybody that's down there in Texas that, you know, we love looking at them on IG. Well, they're in turmoil right now because these people, you know, we from the north. Some of us probably got a big wool coat in the closet. Some of probably got a triple down, right? They don't need that in Texas. You feel me? They don't need that in Texas. So where they gonna get the installation that they need? 4 degrees? Nigga, I get uncomfortable in 30 degrees.
Word.
I get uncomfortable in 30 degrees, let alone -4. And that's not even something that they used to.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy.
And,
Shout
and
out.
and the pipes is busting and freezing. So you in an
And,
ice box?
and just a week ago, uh, Joe Rogan and Elon Musk were touting, Texas as being the new boom state
Yes.
and the new Silicon Valley, right? They were saying that this is Austin to be exact, right? Which is supposed to be the new technological hub of America for the people who are championing clean energy and stuff like that. Bitcoin whales, people who are into crypto, and also those with aspirations to go into space travel by way of SpaceX, which is in Houston. I used to
Mm-hmm.
stay right around the corner on Gemini. I used to walk right past SpaceX a lot, and Elon Musk moved down there. A few people moved to Texas. So I'm like, what kind of coincidence? And also, when you do the research on ERCOT and the fact that there's 3 grids in America and Texas has their own grid, and the reasons for them not joining the national grid is for the fact that they want to keep the feds out of Texas. They do not want federal intervention
Yeah, big government. Right.
whatsoever, in their states. They'll do everything in their powers to keep the feds out of their business and whatnot. I would wonder what this is going to do. I'm wondering how this is going to affect their aspirations to, basically secede. Um, but yeah, we shall see. You know what I mean? But like you were saying a minute ago, I don't put anything above any of them. You know, these government organizations. I don't put anything above anybody for doing something nefarious to, completely shut down and disrupt that energy grid and that way of life the way that they've done over the past week. Today's Friday, the storm hit on Sunday. You didn't see at least George Bush took 5 days to go to Katrina. I didn't see Creepy Joe creeping down to Texas. I didn't see Kamala with the tucked in Timbs hopping off of no planes and whatnot. You know what I'm saying?
With
Going
the
to,
Uggs.
yeah, her, with the Uggs, her and Tina.
With the Uggs and the long lived triple fat,
Yeah, the
right?
Uggs with
Yeah.
the
But
triple.
Kamala with her triple fat. Come on now.
Yeah, where's she at?
Yeah, the whole Ghost Coast is populated with space exploration, right? Dichotomy during the same time that the rover has landed on Mars.
Right, right. You know what I mean? So they're
So,
talking onto a whole nother planet, right? This is
yeah,
let's talk about the bluff game. The same thing that the stock market is built off of, the same thing that a lot of these markets are built off of. Futures, right? Bluff,
right.
good
Speculation.
speculation, but backed up by white papers, backed up by all kind of different manufactured ways of saying this nigga's spitting, right? That's really what it is. So they're talking about going to a whole nother planet, right? Where we haven't even got reports back from the rover as to what's the temperature out there. You know what I mean? Niggas don't talk about Mars summers and whatnot. I would assume that it's cold out that bitch because I haven't seen a sunny day on Mars yet. But they want to go to Mars. They want to have a fucking ski trip to Mars. Remember how niggas having ski trips to the Poconos?
Yeah.
In the next 30 years, you
Yeah, this
fucking
is billionaires' version of
yeah.
when niggas was doing ski trips in the winter. Yo, we going to Poconos
The
the
new
last week of winter.
the new nigga
Yeah.
Memorial weekend is niggas to Mars for a ski trip. You know what I mean? Yeah, I think shorty to Mars. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I'm a Christian
You know what I'm
Dior.
saying? I'm blowing back. You know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna back out on Mars. I would just wait till we get to Mars.
Yeah, but just wait till we get to Mars. You know, she gotta give a nigga some top. I did bring her to Mars after all.
I'm gonna pour some of that Mars Ciroc. I'm gonna blow it back out on the 1942 on Mars. You know what I'm saying? I'd rather do it
Yeah,
there.
we was snorting red clay. Right. Niggas hitting Eliza.
Said I had in that red clay.
Yeah.
You should have seen
Whoop-dee.
it.
So all that being
I'm on a
said,
box shit.
they
I
could
found a
sell y'all a
box shit.
blank fucking check that they go in and populate in Mars, right? And they can't even get generators down to Texas.
I don't believe them. Like I said, it'd be a bunch of bluff. You know what I mean? I don't. I would never get in a fucking rocket ship with no crackers to go to Mars. First of all, you niggas are out of your goddamn minds. That's the same shit they was telling niggas. Let's get on this boat and go to America. When they was pulling up in the Pepper Coast and on the Gold Coast, they was like, "Oh yeah, we going to Plymouth Rock, niggas." You know what I mean? Fuck out of here. You niggas are out of your mind. Nigga, bring heat, bring the warmth back to Texas. All of these Neanderthals moved down there, and now it's Arctic and whatnot. Fuck out of here. Niggas been living in Texas forever, and they didn't have this type of issue. Okay, they didn't have this type of issue. That's some Neanderthal Arctic shit. Yeah, that the winter is here, nigga. So get Texas some heat back before y'all start talking about going to Mars, because we don't believe you. I'm gonna buy the stock though. I'm still gonna bet on Tesla, but I don't believe these niggas. It's a bunch of fluff sometimes,
That's a fact.
and usually us believing in them, you know, during Black
Yeah,
History.
yeah. I mean, the manipulation now that I'm, really into on my stock shit, it's like the manipulation of markets is all based on manipulations of mentals.
That's all
You
it
feel
is.
me?
It's
It's a major bluff.
it's niggas is buzzing. That's what evaluation is. It's a buzz, you know. So you could play the game and still win at the game, but know that it's the game. Know you're playing a game. The same way that you niggas was playing, that y'all was playing Candyville back in the days. It's a game.
It's a game, my nigga.
Don't take it
It
too. It's a game. Use it for what it's used, for what you could use to do what you got to do. Like buy a lot of hand warmers and shit like that. Generators, you know, blow torches.
and yeah, you know, we get the first opportunity to see, right? And I don't want to give credence to the theory that people be like, oh, well, what happened when the solar flare hit in the ELM or the EMF? What is it? You know, the
Yeah,
shit knock. Yeah, it's gonna knock
no,
the grid out in 3 days
we
of darkness, and you ain't gonna
are.
have the internet. Y'all niggas
Yeah,
getting all them coins, but you can't spend it if the internet is off,
yeah,
right? And
that part.
you know, although it might be a far-fetched um, reality or what have you, people are getting the opportunity to see what it looks like. You feel me? What it
It's a
looks
dry
like,
run,
a dry run,
right?
right? So it's not that you should be reactionary, but you know, everything happens for a reason to show you something. So it's like, yeah, you should not be reactionary, but you should get you a generator, right? You should get you a generator. If you get a solar generator and it's depending on the sun, but you believe that you're gonna be in 3 days of pure darkness, then you got to figure something else out. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you might want to have your backup fuel because you see what the situations are. Oh, what happens when gas stations? So it's like in your own mind, if you really want to prep like that and you really a survivalist and that's what you into, this gives you an opportunity to make an observation, engage, and be like, yo, I don't really like the way that that looks, but I'm able to see these pressure points. So I need to pivot here. I need to pivot here. I need to make sure that this is in place. You know
Right,
what I'm saying? Yeah, because it still comes down to doing for self. And 2021 will strip you, right, of all reliability on big government, right?
right,
When you finish this year, you're gonna force to be autonomous. You're gonna be forced to be self-governed. You're gonna force to be your own boss. You're gonna be forced to be, you know what I'm saying, the captain of your own ship, whether you like it or not. The government is not designed, and they're not gonna be there right now for you. They're
it's
not gonna be there, right? This is the divorce. This is the Kim K shit, right? This
yeah,
is the divorce. My nigga, she put the papers in today. This is
yeah,
divorce.
yeah.
You
This is
feel
Kim.
me?
He's bowing out.
Yeah, this is the divorce from big government. Like,
Big is tapping out. They had enough. Um, this is about, once again, in 2020 shows the brothers and sisters who were in school and applied what they learned, that this year is a rewarding year for you. You are on a bull run. Life is good, right? Because you trusted in yourself and you were able to plan for the future. So what we are faced with is still the opportunity to plan for the future, to know that the future exists, right? Yeah, tomorrow's not promised, but the future exists. Cause niggas die every day, but all niggas don't die in one day. So the future exists. So always be able to we have to start having conversations about the 50-year vision that we have, about the 100-year vision that we have. So when we are faced with any type of adversity, we still have our minds fixated on 100 years. How can an adversity stop you from making it to 100 years?
yeah, that's
It's
how you
bro.
shake the sucker shit off,
That's how you shake
right?
it off. You arc to whereas you've placed yourself in a future, right, that is promised to you or your progeny and whatnot, and you do everything. You have to have a point of reference. That's why even with Elon and them, they'll throw out dates like that and say that's what we're aiming for.
It's
That's why,
projections
right?
again.
Movies like Back to the Future, they'll throw a date out there like 2015. they'll give you a reference point. It's an anchor. It's something to pull towards. You know what I mean? We're not having those type of intellectual type of conversations to whereas we're like, yo, confidently speaking, we are going to be thriving and striving in 50 years. We're going
Mm.
to ride the roaring and
We
soaring
ain't
20.
striving in nothing. We thriving and going beyond surviving. We
No, I didn't.
arriving.
I said striving and thriving. We are past surviving. And then after striving and thriving, we arriving. You dig what I'm saying? Like you said, we will arrive. So this next 10 years, if we were to study 100 years ago, when they went through their roaring 20s and whatnot, we could begin to juxtapose the similarities and ride that out. The boom is in crypto. The boom is in a bunch of things. The boom is in a few other things. The same way that there were booms in the early 1920s, there are booms now. But then they had the Great Depression. They had a whole bunch of other shit that was hovering and forecasting. This is not Little Pony, my niggas. You know what I'm talking about? This is not Fraggle Rock. This is Dark Crystal. You're gonna have the dark side of shit, and you're also going to have the lights. This is a quantum reality that we're in. So you're not gonna get this Christian, this anglicized pseudo.
Yeah, it's not either or, it's both.
Not that either or, is both. Don't look at life through the lens of how we were taught in Sunday school. Don't look at life through the lens of what we were taught in the education system, where if things are not going good, then it's impossible for things to go good. Or if there's something bad, or even your definition of what bad is. Is it a lesson? The Texas situation, even though I'm not in Texas personally, it's still a lesson that I'm learning about preparation. You know what I mean? About being prepared, because who would have thought? Why people in Texas would have never thought that they would have faced this. They were looking more so at hurricanes like Harvey. They were looking at heat, you know what I mean? And other little things that were going on, but they didn't forecast a fucking snowpocalypse.
No.
So if I lived in Atlanta and other places in the South, I'd be preparing myself right now. I'd be getting wood in order to burn. I would be getting my bullets and stuff like that to protect my family and stuff like that. You know, I would just start stacking up on at least 90 days worth of food. Cause like Blue said, you don't know what's going. This government is not. They're not concerned with the citizens anymore. COVID is showing you that. They want you to have that vaccination. They want you to get stamped, and that's it. They're not really focusing on anything really else. For right now, it's like they got beef with everybody until you get the shot. Then you back on the
Yeah,
team. All you niggas got
bro,
laid off. You're all
bro.
laid by the corporation until you come back. You're gonna come back into their favor with that shot in your arm. You know?
When I did my research today on updates in Texas,
Right,
and only shit that the officials was talking about is coordinating with the army, right? When this is over, so they call them shooters,
the shooters.
right? They said we have to get 600 shooters down here.
Right,
Shooters are the people responsible for putting needles in other people's arms.
right,
They are talking about pharmacists. They're talking about military personnel. They're talking about nurses. You feel me? And that's all they was talking about.
yeah, nothing else.
Is nothing else. They wasn't talking about restoration of this or restoration of that. They was saying, nigga, when can we get back to putting vaccines in people's arms? That's what we're concerned with.
That part.
But they wasn't speaking about no COVID protocol with people's and their families and 20 and 30 people in the house staying warm. They wasn't telling niggas, oh, when you put on 4 layers of clothing, put on 3 masks. They didn't even have them conversations no more, right? But they like, when you niggas get up out of that, we got these shots for you. And it's someone was like, they was like, but do you have your supply? He was like, oh, we're gonna get the leftover shit. You know what I'm saying? And because the refrigeration, we could depend on it.
Right. Like at least it won't go bad. And so,
I
weather.
was like, are you listening to this shit? They can't get you a blanket, a heated blanket. They can't get you a generator. Yeah, but they're gonna get you the COVID, right? They're gonna get you the COVID V, because I don't want to say that word on the live. I don't suggest that you should either. Yeah, man, I'm just looking at this Bitcoin. Give me 1 second. Yeah,
So
man. So
this Sunday, y'all, me and Blue are gonna be on Zoom. We're gonna be delivering American Gods 44. It's gonna be a few hours long. It's going to be a visual lecture. So you'll be seeing slides and video and whatnot. And we're going to do a deep dive. I'm going to do a little bit of decoding on season 3 of American Gods. And I'm going to explain the significance of what this series is and why it's speaking to Black people. Those of us that are on our God frequency, those of us that are tapping into our purposes and whatnot. I'm also going to be speaking about all of the crazy things that are going on in the first quarter of 2021. And I'm going to show you why this is called 21 Savage and why I said it's a wrap. You know what I mean? I'm going to identify all of the telltale signs of the falling of America or this empire, the Great Reset, spiritually what's going on in the cosmos and things of that nature. And yeah, and then Blue Pill is gonna come in with that 44 cloth,
yeah,
and
the
I'm
link is in the bio. Um,
the link is in the bio.
yeah, the link is in the bio. You know, and homie, nut, no new tone of music. Yeah, pull up to the lecture, man. Cause I heard you say that this it's not even 10 years left to this thing. You know what I'm saying? Again, like we said, this is a quantum conversation. So while we do talk about the fall of America, that's not signaling the end of the world. You know what I'm
No,
saying? You have to be optimistic enough to see, the silver lining in all of this, and know that there are, a hundred plus thousand times 10 years left, on this planet. Yes, gold water is still being sold. The link is in the bio for the gold water, just like the link is in the bio for this lecture, American Gods 4.4. You can find the link in my bio. I'm sure you can find it in Red's. You know what
yes,
I
and
mean? Yeah, we have to have the eyes to see, and we can't, you know, or we shouldn't, should we say, chastise or belittle anybody who can't necessarily see it. We have to share our vision. I
okay.
might have information that can help you see the silver lining that you probably can't see prior to that. So pull up so we can give you some insight into where you might want to redirect your focus and where you can see the future at, because you know you more than likely can't see it based on what they're showing you or based on where you might be looking, but there are signs as to what the future holds.
Big signs. Like we were saying earlier, this is a quantum reality that we're in. So there is no bad days. Um, there's really a lot of opportunity that's presenting itself. We'll go further into that on the 25th when we do our Thrive and Strive class, but we'll touch on it. We'll briefly speak on it. We'll definitely speak on Bitcoin and with the rise of this bull year, the bull what this bull run and what this bull year means for those of us that are out here. Because, like I said, when something this is change, right? And change is the same thing. Everything that changes form, energy never dies. It just changes form. So this is change that's taking place. Change is painful. Birth is painful. There's something called birthing pains and whatnot. Uh, this world that we live in is going through a very painful change. Things have been changing for about a whole year now on a faster pace than it was before. due to the COVID. But while the COVID was taking place, there were all of these other changes that were signaling, right? For those of us that look at the signs and the symbols, they were signaling major, major change. So that's what we're here to do as decoders and as teachers and scholars. We're here to shine that light. Somebody said China's about to cash in. I mean, haven't they already? Are we talking mass gluttony? Haven't they already? How much can they consume? You know, how much can they consume? They've consumed a lot. Let's have conversations about how we're going to take over and our rights. Because even with what Blue was saying, what I've also seen surface is whole towns that are going to have the opportunity to be run as sovereign states, right? Through corporate influence. You want to speak on that briefly?
Um, in Nevada, they are
Wow.
putting forth legislation, right? Because Nevada is tech friendly, right? Because Elon is in Nevada as well. Just like, Austin and parts of Texas is tech friendly. Just like Miami is tech friendly. Just like prior to that, New York was tech friendly, right? A lot of places want to rival Silicon Valley and become tech hubs. Nevada really wants to do it, and they're going one step extra by allowing tech companies, corporations, to now become their own autonomous government. If you have 50,000 uninhabited acres of land and 250 M's in the bank, then you can become your own government. You can make your own laws. You can have your own enforcement. You can set up, the parameters of your cities, your borders. You feel me? And you can delegate. You can delegate your affairs like a boss. You know what I'm
Big,
saying? And
big boy.
I'm sure that will be again with their prototyping are global cities, right? And global cities have connections to what their sister cities are globally, right?
Right,
And these global cities will like share the same coin amongst them and share the same laws, and those laws will be outside of whatever country that they're in, like the Vatican, right? The Vatican operates under different laws than the rest of Italy. You dig what I'm
right.
saying? So, yeah, Nevada is introducing legislation like that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure that other people will follow suit. Post COVID, there are things called Zoom boom towns,
Zoom
right?
boom.
Yeah, they're boom. Before they will call a particular town that industry comes to, they will call it a boom town,
Right,
right? They're calling these Zoom boom towns because these towns have now boomed, right? Because of the relocation of people from cities that are able to use Zoom and continue to do business. They don't need to be geolocated in particular cities to do
oh
business.
yeah.
So they have retreated into the rural areas, into the upstate areas, right? They are populating small towns and taking them over
Right, right.
because they can do remote business. Business is not localized anymore to where you technically supposed to, do business at. Niggas ain't punching clocks and going into work no more. So people are going into small towns and repopulating them towns and bringing a family there. And these are now being called Zoom boom towns. And the
Zoom.
real estate market is spiking in these towns, and they're pricing out residents and things of that nature because people are actually having bidding wars in a lot of these towns. Once again, why? Because demand is outstripping supply. You
Right,
feel
right.
me? But then, it's an expansion contraction type of thing. This is, we need to have more conversations, y'all, about economics, right? We seen last year through this voting shit. All right, our people are not anarchists. Our people are not anarchists. Our people are not sitting around waiting for this shit to to fall to pieces. If we want to participate, which we do, and we want to succeed in this game, which we do, then it's imperative that we learn the rules. And especially, I'm telling you, like, you know, conscious community has been there. We've spoke about a lot of things, but we haven't spoken enough about finances. We haven't spoken enough about, you know, economics. And that should be all that the fuck we talk about this year. You feel me? And even conversations like this, they have to direct towards economic imperatives, or we're wasting time and spinning our wheels and just entertaining people. And I'm not into that. You feel me? I'm not into that.
That's
You know,
right. Started this.
this is if it wakes you up and it brings attention to your consciousness, this is only to shift you towards a financial imperative for you to do something that's going to secure yourself or your family of a future, right? And for you not to be selfish, for you to plant some seeds in the ground that's going to blossom 100 years from now. You understand?
Right.
That's the
Ground.
only way. That's the only way that you are signaling now to the universe that you got plans to be here. Nigga, you got to plant seeds,
Look,
right? You have to ground yourself in that spiral motion that, centrifugally advances itself into the future 100 years. If you're not doing anything, if you're not being intentional to the universe to let them know.
think about crypto that's underneath a dollar. The altcoins and the crypto that's underneath the dollar, those are seeds, right? The crypto that's underneath the dollar are seeds, right? And society is the fertile
I like
ground.
that. Somebody said plant seeds will be fertilizer. Facts.
Yeah, once they crack the dollar mark, they're budding seeds,
Right.
right? That's when they have proof of life. Those are budding seeds. That's when the seed actually begins to grow. A prime example of a full-grown tree would be Bitcoin. Right now, we have the opportunity, right, as right free men and women, right, to take those seeds in our hands and begin to plant those seeds. Like Blue said, you have to show the universe that you even have intent to be here in the next 20, 30 years. So by planting these seeds now, the same way that some of us planted the Bitcoin seeds 10 years ago and we watched it grow and we watched and it was being watered and the tree grew and now it's bearing fruits. You know what I mean? 10 years is not a long time per se, especially if you're doing something that you love. And plant those seeds and watch those seeds grow. It's not a simple, it's like so many millionaires were created in the past few years for practically doing nothing but listening. You live in a new day and time. People have become multimillionaires. They were not mining physically where they had to find gold. They were mining Bitcoins out the crib. You know what I mean? They just had to pay an electric bill. Or they were buying it for $1 and holding it. That just
Right.
takes a little power.
Right.
In the past few months, multimillionaires have been created. In the past few weeks, there's some people who hopped on the GameStop right off of Clubhouse. They just saw Clubhouse, like, what's going on? GameStop is going up. They were able to make it into Robinhood, drop about 5,000 on it, and they became millionaires just like that. That's what I'm talking about. We live in a day and a time of the 1 minute millionaire. So we started out this year on a right note. We did a workshop, pardon me, excuse me, called Thrive and Strive on Zoom. It was a smash. Over 200 plus people was in the building. So we're following that lecture, the first one that we did, because we have so much to report. You know what I mean? Since we did it, that GameStop happened right after we did it. And in the workshop, we were talking about the power of the numbers. This is the cheat code of how this thing works. This
Yeah.
is a driven game that we're all playing right now.
Yeah. Download Weeble. Facts. I co-sign that. Get your Webull, right? Coinbase, because somebody asked what's a verifiable platform that they can buy coins on. Buy
Yeah,
it
I'm
on Coinbase, KuCoin,
yeah,
right?
cool.
You can get a Clever wallet. Chicago Crypto always talks about the Trust wallet. You feel me?
Yep. You know, but definitely
Yeah.
go and get your base. If you want to buy direct Bitcoins, you could go right to your Cash App and you could put it on you could buy as much as you know as much as you can afford.
So
You know, yeah.
family, yeah, like if you would have spent 48 on a coin last week, 48, right? 48, right? Let's say you had the whole thing. You dig what I'm saying? And you bust 48 on it. It's 56 right now. Like, do we really need to explain the 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 mathematics and the mechanics of that? Y'all need a whole lecture just to, explain what.
Going for 56, are the gains better? Um, I don't. I mean, no. The gain. I mean, it depends on if you see it going to 100.
Yeah, if
So
you in your mind envision that it's gonna go to 100, yes, you
yeah,
you you gonna double. You know what I'm saying?
if you're gonna wait for it to go back down to 50, you know what I mean? You're gonna sit around while that shit hit 80. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, I wouldn't put the whole 56 on it. You know, you could put five. You could put 10 on it.
Yeah.
Then go
Or
and
yeah, I would if I was you, family, that said that, and I've been sitting here looking, and I don't think it's gonna go to 54 again. It's hovering between 56 and 55, and it's about to go on another run. You know what I mean? I would say, shit, if it hit 54, better grab it, right? Because then it's gonna jump back to 57 or 56, and you're gonna make 2 or 3 racks on top of your initial investment. And what else can you get that on right now? Just tell me that, right? And don't tell me a pack or a brick, nigga. What else can you get it on, right? And yeah, and it's at your own risk. And I'm not a financial advisor.
that
I'm none
part.
of those things, right? So I can't really. I'm not telling you something that's 1,000%. What I will say, based on my own research, right? My diligent research that I have been doing is that, in my own, if we're talking about my personal opinion, I don't think you can go wrong, right? Because it's not going to bottom out. At some point, that shit is going to gain the traction to go past the 56 that you bought for it. Even if it dipped to 40 tomorrow, right? At some point, it's going to catch up on itself. And you are playing long. This is not you rolling the dice for you to get your motherfucking G-Wagon money up, my nigga. That's not what this is, right? We're not rolling for the Maybach truck. That's not what this is. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
You're making a long-term investment, and you're seeing your dollar and your penny quantumize itself. So you really should study quantum mechanics first, quantum physics, right? And understand how something, when we identify something as being quantum, what exactly does that mean? You can go to damn, somebody was telling me the exchanges earlier that got Guap Coin. I got a Guap Coin app, and Guap Coin popping right now too,
Hmm.
right? Guap Coin is popping. So just the way I explain it, y'all, a dollar bill. Let me see if I have any of them shits left. Ugh. Ugh. I
Yeah.
actually got one. Yeah, I'm guilty. I got one of these shits in my pocket, right? Right. So this has a binary function. right? How binary is 0 and 1. So this has a binary function. It can buy something, right? Just valued at $1, or it can make change. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah. My dude, Mansa got a clubhouse coming up too. I want to catch that shit about smart cities.
Hey,
Because I know he been studying the Venus Project, so he got some balls, right?
right.
So $1 is binary. The smell of $1 will be missed. I was not using dollars to snort cocaine, so I totally missed out on that. My bad. So look, I see what you're saying, right? My stepmother, she had haunted us years ago when we was children, and she was like, the dirtiest thing ever to have possession of is $1, right? And she was like, not only are they utilizing it to sniff coke from it, but she was like, think about how many, because niggas used to put money in their mouth. So she just shitted on that. And she was like, think about how many people's hands done touch money. That's the last thing that you want to, like hold on to. And I'm like, damn, I'm trying to touch some paper. What the hell you hating for? Anyway, so $1 bill is binary, right? You can buy something with it and you can make change from it. That's it. It does not appreciate, right? It does not store any value, okay? It's actually losing money. It's losing money as you hold it, right? Because of inflation. So you're not running up the bag by money sitting in your pocket, right? Whereas if you invest this in crypto, right? Now it becomes quantum because not only does it store value, okay, as an investment tool, right? You also can buy things with it, right? But it also breaks down to smaller quantities, of which now I can take those smaller quantities, such as a penny, right? And I can invest in a penny, in one penny, right? Because this $1 equals 100 pennies. But I can invest in a penny stock, and that penny stock can turn to one of these. You understand? But that penny stock can turn to $1 million as well. Case in point, there was a story of a dude that was like, yo, somebody sent me 10,000 Bitcoins when it was a penny stock, right? You got a calculator? Let's do the math. Somebody sent him a penny stock of Bitcoin for 10,000 pennies, 10,000 Bitcoins when it was a penny, right?
Right.
That was $1,000 investment, okay? That was $1,000 investment. Right now, Bitcoin is 55,000 a Bitcoin, right? What is that?
A lot.
10,000 Bitcoins at 55,000 a Bitcoin. He got $55 million, if my math is correct.
Yeah. Just like
You feel me? Like that. So think about once we explain this shit different to you, family. So not only can this dollar as a Bitcoin dollar store value, right? But you can break it down and make change and buy another 1,000 different pieces of money, not fiat, right? But intrinsic money that is backed up by something, okay? And then those monies can do freakish shit as well, right? Because those monies that you're buying into have the propensity to grow into, you know what I'm saying? Like these trees. I got avocado trees and shit in my corner, right?
mm-hmm.
This tree is gonna grow an avocado one day, right? It started as a seed though, but it's gonna grow. And it's the same thing with these finances and these coins and these tokens. And my thing is this: for the amount of funds that you feel that you can allocate into initially investing, that's the shit that, I'm gonna take one less vacation this year. So I'm gonna save 1,600 on my vacation, or I'm not gonna buy. I'm gonna forego all of the drip that I was thinking about buying this year, and I'm just gonna invest a safe amount. I'm gonna find me 1,500 or 2,500, for lack of a better term, y'all, to play around with. And I use that term loosely because I do not advocate you doing any of this shit without the education, right? I don't advocate you doing any of this without the education. You have to have a firm fucking education in order to go into these realms, especially, these trading realms and shit like that, where you on these platforms trading Bitcoin, or you trading cryptocurrency. You better know what you're doing. Even if you're buying it and investing in it, you have to do the research on the stock. You have to do the research on the coin, for that matter. You have to know what is this history, what is this utility. You got to know a little something about being able to read the chart when you look at the whole, lifespan of this coin and see its fluctuations, because you got to have an idea. Is this shit going to go up, or is it going to go down? When do I pull my bread out? When is enough enough? Right? Yeah, because your emotional state, nigga, you're going to have ulcers. You're going to be like Homie and Clockers that had to drink the Yoo-Hoo. Your anxiety is going to be fucked up if you sitting there, you know what I mean, and you bother because the shit took a dip and your heart dips with it. And then there's a whole nother spectrum called the stock market. There's dealing with stocks, right? Of which we stocks is definitely something that we should look at. Then there's a whole nother financial realm when we're talking about Forex. And now you're dealing with, currencies, right? So that's three viable ways that are worlds onto themselves, right? And then we can get back to talking about the box chain.
Yeah.
Then you find, yeah, then you got a skill set. You know what I'm saying? Yeah,
I,
that's my thing. Like, if you were spending money on Lotto, my nigga, this is for you.
right. If you was one
If
of
you
those,
were spending money on Lotto, my nigga, this is for you,
and then
right?
just imagine how many people's like, and I don't like to get into the what if world or whatnot, but we all have family members who dedicated their lives to the lotto, chasing the dollar and the dream. Like if our community was financially literate and we understood about the stock market and things like that, like all the way back in the 80s with Michael Milken and all of them niggas, like our people could have been buying us stocks for Christmas. You know what I mean? They could have been having, stock parties,
Not parties. Yeah,
when
fuck a birthday party.
yeah, when there was all of that money in the hood and whatnot, they could have been placing their bets in different stocks and fucking
Jasmine Nicole, you made a good point, and let me just reiterate real quick, because this is an integral part to our community, especially our community dominated by women, especially, right? These younger sisters of today that have penetrated astral realms, right? So the lotto thing came out of our societies playing numbers, and numbers in our community came out of our women primarily having dreams, and the dream interpretation of the numbers, right? They would have people interpreting the numbers, because some of them would get straight up numbers in a dream. And then some of them would have dreams of certain motifs, and those motifs correlated to numbers. So they're like, oh, you dream of a horse, or you dream of a fish, oh, that's this number, that's that number. Boom. And they will go and play numbers. You know what I'm saying? And then they will be hitting and licking. And the person who was known in the hood for coming up with the numbers that was consistent, oh, they was gold. They
woo,
was valued in our community. That was the nana that everybody looked out for. You know what I'm saying? She
was
was the plug in so many words. You feel me? So New York State in particular took that format after they crushed the policy runners and they created the New York State Lotto. You know what I'm saying? So that's all. The lotto is a mechanized, mechanical version of something that we used to do spiritually. So it would be like the first iteration, you would say, of AI, right? Where AI was mimicking consciousness. You know what I'm saying? Which is, I was advocating for the lotto last year because I saw that it was hackable. I'm like,
Mm.
yo, you can hack that. It's hackable. Anything that's running off of an algorithm, you can hack it. And that's all the lotto is just running off an algorithm. Those are not random numbers.
Mm-hmm.
So boom, going into that, yeah, she was the neighborhood oracle. So our sisters have not stopped having dreams. Our sisters are having even more dreams today, but we don't have there used to be these books, right? Dream interpretation books. You know,
Dream.
we don't have them. Yeah, we don't have the dream books no more. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what happened. It wasn't that long ago. Yes, y'all, we are twins. The cat is out the bag,
Nah,
right?
I, don't, care. I just met him. He started looking like me.
Yeah. Yeah, this nigga's Ja Rule on DMX. Arr! Don't let niggas
Uh,
leave my style alone.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
okay.
I met this nigga at 11, went to DR and came back looking like me. That's a new body. That's a new body.
Yeah.
I don't do like
Yeah, so that's the beauty of, you know, that's the beauty of what the numbers represented, but me knowing that the universe still speaks the language of mathematics, I'm just like, if we get more of our sisters involved in this particular genre, you know what I'm saying? Maybe it will open up in terms of them saying, yo, I had a dream about a coin. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
shit.
Y'all,
I'm
y'all gotta, yeah,
nah.
you
Fuck
know,
that.
go the whole house.
Nah. Look, we need a brouhaha, a motherfucking brouhaha incubator. We need a brouhaha numbers house. We need a house full of brouhahas where we just, we feed them elderberries and sea moss, and then we just go to them for stock tips. Be like,
Fact.
go, yeah, go and talk to Regis Philbin. Bring me a stock back or something. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
You know,
yeah. That part. You know,
yeah,
just like, yeah, I want to get my numerologist, my Kabbalist, my gematria, you know, metaphysics. If you go and look at all of the symbols for the stocks dealing with coins, all of them shits is metaphysical.
all of them.
All of them. You
They
know, even to the point, yeah, when we talking about the Ethereum blockchain, like what is Ether? You know what I'm saying? What's Ethereum? Yeah, if you knew the birth date of the chart, if you knew the chart, if you knew the birthday of the coin, then technically we can go to the astrophysicists and the cosmophysicists in our community and get an ample reading of the coins to find out what day it's gonna pop. You have an
right,
indication in the market. The indication in the market can always be found in the astrological signature, right? This
right,
shit is mathematics, is measurement. We're simply talking about algorithms and how do you hack the algorithm? You hack the algorithm by having more information.
right. More
So
data.
more data, right? So
All gotta
I will put the M's up to be like, look, for our masterminds in this community, the powerhouses, you feel me? We just need to be focused on this, right?
and base our case studies off of how them coins are motherfucking operating. Because if we could pull a chart on a coin and then we see that shit spiking and moving on days that its chart said that it would spike and move, my ninjas, you just
Right?
cracked
Yeah. So yeah, that in that term, that's called technical analysis,
technical
right?
analysis.
Reading a chart, sitting there and reading the chart, right? Reading some shit like this, sitting there and reading these charts. That's technical analysis. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
You sitting there reading the chart. That's technical analysis. And yo, I mean, whew, I done seen experts at it. That shit is technical, right? They
Them
don't leave
candle
no stone to overturn, huh?
reading them
Bro,
candles.
when they reading the candles, drawing the lines and the pyramids and everything is super technical.
Yep.
You feel me?
Yep.
Yeah. So if you cold blooded with them charts, DM me, tap in. Let's formulate this coalition, right? Same way that they was able to put their team together for Wall Street Bets. You know, I'm in Wall Street Bets on Reddit. I'm in a few groups on Reddit. You know what I'm saying? I see the way that they delegate and share information with one another. You feel
Yep.
me? So yeah, it is metaphysical. So why shouldn't the metaphysicians, you know, have a stake in this game? You know what I mean? Right? So yeah, all the people who read charts, tap in, you know, DM us. Let's get this group together. Right? Let's get in front of this information and this technology so we can play at an elite level. Everybody else's the shit is free money. The shit is free money. And there's so much that we can do by allocating and pulling down all of that free money out of the universe. You know what I mean? This has blockchain and Bitcoin, again, which was technically born on Halloween of 2008. That was the revolutionary change principle that came in Trojan horse with Obama, who came into office a few days later. 4 or 5 days later, he was voted in. But the change that you voted for wasn't Obama. It was blockchain. It was blockchain and Bitcoin. The revolution was digitized. Okay, right? The revolution was digitized in 2008 out of the ashes of the burning down of the financial markets. Now,
Old financial business
I
model.
look, this is when I was working at Epic, right? I had an office on the 21st floor, right?
Right.
And I used to oversee the meetings they was having on Fifth Avenue. This when the markets was melting and they was having emergency meetings. And I'm like, yo, that shit looked like the G20. Like, I'm like, these crackers is not just in there talking about how they gonna bail out Bear Stearns or whether they not or what have you. I'm like, there's a whole nother, like that shit looked at like when they do the Grand Council, General Council at the UN,
Mm-hmm.
right? I would go outside because I would be at, you know, at work I would stay there sometimes 2 or 3 in the morning. So I would go to All Bupan, I think that's the store and shit, to get some soup. So I would walk through, you know what I'm saying, where they meetings and everything was at. Cause I could see it in my office, but I would walk down there and I'm like, yo, this shit was like the highest security clearance type of situations. Cause I'm like, I don't know who made Bitcoin. I don't know who Satoshi is. You feel me? But I'm like, the type of energy and activity that I seen going on around that time, you knew that something illmatic was being created. Something was being signed off on. Somebody was being shown game plans to be like, nah, let's just stick with this long enough. Because this is the new play. You dig what I'm saying? And they ushered in the future. They ushered in the future. In the blind that people was looking at the time was Obama, not understanding that a entirely new digital financial infrastructure had been slid in. Because money was digital before that, right? Let's not pretend like, oh, this is just the dawning of digital currencies. No, nigga, blitz. They say when you walk down Fifth Avenue and you walk down in them neighborhoods and blocks that I was talking about, there's trillions of dollars going through the air every second, right? So the money was already a blip on the screen. The money was already ethereal. The money was already traveling through the air. You feel me?
Right.
They laid the infrastructure for blockchain, right? They laid the infrastructure for blockchain and they introduced a monster like Bitcoin that was a quantum fucking reality that really came into play once this quantum reality set in post 2020.
That's a fact.
So I'm just like, yo, you know, we got a lot of ground that we need to close, you know, not to catch up. It's already off to the races. but to respectfully be in the game and gain some traction and do the many things that are now possible with access to this amazing advent of technology, while at the same time never forgetting, right, to secure a world for you that is offline, right? I like so never forget Texas, right? Never forget Texas, right? And what does that mean? Oh, while I'm doing this over here and securing what needs to be secured, you feel me? At the same time, I'm also making sure that I'm not losing sight of the fact that if the internet is down and I don't have electricity, right, I can still power my smart city. I can still make sure that, we can defend what needs to be defended. I still got this greenhouse popping, so, I ain't got to worry about my food freezing. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So these are all lessons. And the universe is just showing you what needs to be done so you can tighten up. So you can survive whatever's coming.
Super facts. You know, the lessons are all in the air. Classes in session. You know, if you're distracted, you might not see what's going on, and that's okay. It's still taking place. The world is still revolving, and shit is moving at a very fast pace. So, we like I said, we popped out to teach this class. After I teach this class, I'm going back in my rabbit hole to continue building and creating and fortifying, these platforms and rolling out new opportunities. We're on a roll with the stream chasers. We've been doing very good with that. We've been doing very well with our lectures and things of that nature. We're just going to keep moving. You know what I mean? We got to keep building. More people are waking up and getting this information and using it to better their lives, which is a touchdown. More people are, as this bull run takes place, more people who invested and made the proper investments years ago, they're benefiting. So everything is in alignment. Everything is in alignment, you know. But what I need y'all to do is to go and hit up Kamala Harris on Twitter, find her and ask her if she's gonna go to Texas with the tucked in Uggs and talk to the people out there. Cause that's the job of the vice president. You know what I'm talking about? She's actively missing in action. And that's the administration that all of you deltas and AKAs voted in. Y'all put a lot of stock in that half black woman, you know. So, go find out where she's at. Start the Kamala challenge. Something. You know what I mean? But the way that they handle brothers and sisters in Texas is atrocious. It's horrible. It's damn near criminal.
Damn near criminal.
Damn near criminal. You know, uh, so just let that thing marinate. But I'm gonna let you say any last words that you have before we tap out.
Yeah, I mean, pull up, y'all. You know what I'm saying? To the lecture. Y'all got a lot of free information tonight, but we have something very special for you in store on Sunday. It ain't gonna be a lot of these this year. You know what I'm saying? So you need to get it while it's available, you know. And yeah, me in particular, I know with this information, I'm batting 10 for 10. So I got some more stuff that I need to bring to the table that we can share and open up. But you know what I'm saying? Like, this is about seeing us win, right? The
All right.
the the extension of love that we have for family, it starts with love for self. You know what I mean? I want to win and I want to see y'all win. So, I have a new respect for knowledge and information. right? Because this is the paradigm that we're in, and I could really see what it's hitting for. You know, this will make the difference. This is going to separate the men from the mice, the gods from the boys. So
Oh, that's a
yeah,
super.
just
Somebody asked
pull
what.
up, right? The link is in the bio.
Yeah,
American Gods 44.
right.
That's it.
It's
Somebody
on.
asked what?
Huh?
Somebody asked what you say?
No, they wanted to know where they could buy it. The lecture at. I said that the link is in the bio. It will be recorded. You'll have lifetime access to it as a ticket holder. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and it starts at Eastern 9 p.m. You'll get the email of the link the day of the event. So look out in your email for the links. And yeah, that's what it is. I'll see y'all on Sunday. I appreciate you, Brother Blue. If anybody has family out there in Texas, y'all reach out to them and just give them some good prayers, send some good energy to them. You know, tell the ancestors to watch over them. How do we join the Zoom? You join the Zoom by purchasing a ticket. And when you purchase the ticket, we will have your information and we will contact you the day of the event. All right. So peace to the family. Thailand, what up? Alexa, what's
Peace,
good?
God.
What's goody? Peace to the family. Peace to all of y'all. We will tap back in with y'all on another day and another time. Love and light. All right. Peace.
Peace.